The final trailer for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has gifted us with so much insight on the game. So in this video, I'm going to break down all the things that you may have missed from the trailer. Let's get right into it. The first interesting thing to note from the trailer is how you can see a construct fighting a blue chew jelly atop one of the islands. We then see another construct attempting to chop down a tree. And it's worth noting that these yellow-leaved trees are only seen on the Sky Islands. We then see Link nosediving his way down to Hyrule's surface. And while diving, there is one island in the sky that looks very familiar. It is the one from Skyward Sword, known as the Isle of Songs. This was the island Link returned to when tempering the goddess sword into the Master Sword. So it seems that Link may have to return to its ruins. Maybe in order to recover the Master Sword back to its original state after breaking. Regardless, it seems that somehow this island has survived all these years, and now will serve a purpose in Tears of the Kingdom. Next up is a scene of Haytano Village, as we see it still intact. But there seems to be a ton of mushroom-like domes sprouting all over. It doesn't seem natural though, but man-built with mushroom-like patterns on them. Covering lampposts, to buildings, to even the clothing sign on top of the shop, and other various things throughout the village. Here we see a view of Castletown ruins, still in ruin, but maybe not for long, as there are tons of tents set up. This could be where builders will gather to rebuild Hyrule Castletown in some sort of quest throughout the game. In the next clip of Link climbing, we can see a circular structure caught between two cliff sides. This could be of the many structures that have been falling from the Sky Islands, now on Hyrule's surface. This scene here shows us something emerging from Gerudo Desert. This may be the remains of Arbiter's Grounds from Twilight Princess resurfacing as a dungeon. And it seems like when Hyrule Castle does rise up, so will things come down from Hyrule Sky. As we see a group of Hylians and Sheikah react to Hyrule Castle floating, while also seeing a ton of structures fall from the sky. Next is of this mysterious figure that many assume must be Ganon. But at a closer look, he more so resembles Demise, from his fiery hair and dark skin. This could be just Ganon awakening his true form that represents Demise, or Demise has returned alongside Ganondorf. Either way, this looks far different than how we see Ganondorf later throughout the trailer. Next is when we see Link attempt to save Zelda and fails. Clearly by how his arm looks, this is after the Master Sword gets destroyed from Ganon, but before the green mysterious arm helps him, saving him from falling, while also merging into his wound, giving him the new powers we see Link have throughout the game. Next we see Link running in Gerudo Desert with a bunch of sandholes surrounding him. These could be pathways to underground areas as we later see in the trailer. Speaking of which, the next area shown is clearly an underground area within the game. And honestly, it's surreal to think about how we're not only getting an expansive addition to Hyrule Sky, but also underneath. And judging by the lava and Link's Goron armor, this place must be underneath Death Mountain, or maybe inside of it. Next is a scene of Link standing in front of a floating ship. There are multiple ones like them, and I assume they will guide Link throughout this massive storm in the sky. The storm is most likely near Hebra Mountains, as we can see it from far away in the game's key artwork. It also explains why Link's getup is of the Rito attire, because of how cold it is. Next we see Link perform a Mario Galaxy-like jump, with a ball of water helping him maneuver in midair. The water balls seem to be pushed out by these Zonai built-like systems in the ground, which seem to be acting like a platforming section for Link in this area. We then see Link skillfully dive his way past tons of laser beams as he slows down his fall by gliding. But instead of using a glider, he is wearing clothes that act as a glider. Next we see Link pushing a giant crane for some gacha-like machine. It seems that when the electric orbs come in contact with sunlight as Link is pushing it towards it, it will cause the machine to power up, dispensing one of those gacha balls from it. Next we see Link glide his way through ruins, and from the walls they seem similar to the 3 maze ruins from Breath of the Wild. But maybe this one could be held in the sky, as there may have been more ruins like these, but hidden up above. The next scene shows Link riding his way on Epona, ready for battle in Fort Haytano, with also Hylians helping him in battle against the Moblins. And I can't tell if this is a helmet or a top hat, but I hope Link can wear it, cause whatever it is, it looks classy. Next we see Link riding up a Sheikah Shrine-like elevator upwards. And we see Link holding the upgraded Sheikah Slate with it connected via a cable to a winch, which then has its cable connected to somewhere else. Maybe Link's Sheikah Slate was just low on charge and he needed a quick boost. Not really, but it is interesting to see that Link still needs a Sheikah Slate in this game. We then cut to a clip of a mysterious looking horned figure, and it seems to be accompanied with many others like it. Their attire are similar to the Zonai, so maybe this could be what the Zonai's race truly looked like. We then see a scene of a Zonai machine emerge from the wall that it was held in. This most likely is an enemy found deep within the ruins, as judging by the dark surroundings of that area. Link is then shown in Hyrule Castle's sanctum, but still intact. As if you remember throughout Breath of the Wild, the floor was destroyed after the battle against Calamity Ganon. So I'm unsure when this clip takes place, as clearly Hyrule Castle looks in good condition here. Next we see Zelda in a room that looks to be powered by Zonai Tech. It's worth noting that Zelda isn't wearing the jewelry she wears later in the trailer, and her outfit is dirty. So this may be early during her adventure, after she was separated from Link. Next is a clip of the Master Sword in its pedestal in Korok Forest, which then shows Link reaching to pull it out with his right arm. And I mention that because Link's hand isn't corrupt or fused with the new arm in this clip. So maybe this was a flashback of Breath of the Wild, or before any of these events took place. We then see Zelda dressed in her new attire, as she is touched by a mysterious Zonai man. And this man's arm that is touching Zelda seems to be very familiar to Link's new arm. But obviously by his height and voice, this is clearly not Link, as he's speaking of him. Regardless, with this character being voiced and interacting with Zelda like that, I can already assume that this character will play a big role throughout the game. Moving on, we see Link face a construct, as he has a Royal Guard sword fused with a Royal Shield, which then he uses it to parry the construct. I'm so glad you can even fuse a shield with a sword. It makes the possibilities seem endless. Next we see Link flying above a hollowed out circular-like structure, which has patterns of the game's main branding, being the circular pattern we've seen tons already. We then see Link dodge a Goron's attack in a cave, and while it's strange to see Link being attacked by a Goron, we can confirm it's one as we see 2 other Gorons making their way into the cave as well. Next is a scene of Link launched into the air, with a young Rito by his side. This Rito is Tulin from Breath of the Wild, but slightly older. Yes, the son of Tiba. And Nintendo has even revealed official artwork for him. Though it honestly makes you wonder what happened to Tiba himself, as we see other champion descendants accompany Link later in the trailer. Yet for some reason Tiba is replaced with his son. Next is a scene of Link helping some Hylians cross Hyrule, as he built a wagon for them. And you can tell that Link has built it himself, as it has the green glue-like magic we see from the Ultra Hand ability. Next we see Link play the Uno Reverse card on an Octorok, as he uses the recall ability to send back its fireball and destroy it. We then see Link using a rocket that is fused onto his shield to launch himself into the sky. And you can tell that the rocket is fused onto his shield, as he stands in his shield stance before it then launches himself upwards. Next is once again Link jumping like Mario from Super Mario Galaxy, as he slow jumps on the Zonai platforms that seem to be giving off an anti-gravity aura around them. These platforms are also not that far away from the ones that pushed out balls of water in the air. So it seems like this whole segment here may all be a platforming section as Link scales his way up. We then see Link on a minecart facing a construct in what seems to be the underground Death Mountain section. And both of their minecarts are pushed by a Zonai fan that is glued to the back of them. Next is a hilarious scene of Link on a giant stone block with wheels, as clearly he built that with the power of Ultra Hand. And we see him slowly make his way to face a pack of bokoblins on top of their stone talus. The fact that you can use the environment as your weapon is insane. We then see Link riding an armored Epona as he fuses a ruby onto an arrow to give it firepower. He's also wearing a horned headpiece, as it must be a part of a new outfit within the game. I'm getting real Ico vibes from it, and I love it. We then see Link accompanied with Tulin again, as he faces off against this insanely menacing looking ice creature. They appear to be in the giant storm near Hebra, which may be caused by this ice monster. And this also explains why the boss is made of ice. But speaking of ice, Link is also equipped with his own ice-like outfit, which looks really badass. We then see a scene of Zelda holding a golden tear, as her hand seems to be shaking. These tears clearly are going to play a huge role throughout the game if the title didn't already give it away. We then see a better and longer scene of the Master Sword breaking from the malice corrupting it, while also damaging Link's arm. This scene looks so brutal with how long it lasts, attacking Link's arm. Next is a scene of the man of the hour, Ganondorf, as he is dressed in a similar robe that he wore in the Wind Waker, and the same jewelry that his corpse had on when Link and Zelda first encountered his body. We also got official artwork for him revealed to us by Nintendo, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, my man is looking fine. It then zooms into a shot of his face, as we see light emit from Ganondorf's forehead. This light seems to be caused by a tear that is actually on his forehead, similar to how Zelda had one, but red, as you can also get a better view of it in the official artwork Nintendo revealed. Next is a clip of an insanely freaky looking shark-like enemy that is covered in the black malice we see throughout Breath of the Wild, and it seems like it forms itself from the malice. We then are shown a clip of a tanner looking Zelda with longer hair. While some of her features don't necessarily look like Zelda, she definitely shares her green eyes. But the biggest resemblance is her attire, from her earring to her forehead jewelry to even the makeup, as it's all exactly what Zelda has. And she even has the yellow tear that Zelda was holding around her neck. With all of these similarities, I assume that this could be the goddess Hylia herself, as it explains why they are dressed and look alike. This may be what her true physical form looks like. We then see a beam shooting out from the sky, killing off a bunch of Moldugas. This could be the beam we see that woman powering up, caused by the power of her tear. We then see a clip of Riju with shorter hair, performing lightning-like moves similar to Urbosa. It seems she has now really stepped up to her role as the Gerudo Chief, and is able to do lightning-like abilities similar to her ancestor. But what may be giving her this power is the tear that she is wearing on her earring. So clearly Zelda and Ganon aren't the only two that will have tears, as these champion descendants are also given a much bigger purpose throughout the game. And Nintendo also revealed the official artwork for her as well, showing off her new look in that hairstyle. Next is a shot of Link and the next heroes of Hyrule. Not really, but he is grouped with a bunch of Hylians, a Gerudo, and a Goron, and they seem to be ready to take on a battle. Link also has a construct-like weapon that looks like it was made out of their material. Also, there's this dude wearing a bucket as a hat. I'm not sure if that's the best protection, but I really hope we can equip it on Link, as it would look pretty silly. Next we see another champion descendant, this being the sibling of Mipha, Sidon, as he accompanies Link in battle against a construct. We also got official artwork for him as well, and it's really nice to see our boy back. The next shot gives us a better understanding of why we've seen these champion descendants appear in this trailer, as we see Riju, Sidon, and Tulin all rush forward. And while we've already seen Riju with the tear earlier, we can also see that Sidon has a blue one on his wrist, while Tulin has a greenish one on his hip. So these tears may be what they need to give them sacred power to help Link this time around, as if they were sages. And we also see a fourth warrior running alongside him as someone is holding a Goron pickaxe, and that is most likely Yunobo, as he would be the last descendant missing from this trailer. And I assume the reason we haven't seen him yet is because he probably got a redesign from aging and they're holding off until the final game. Next, we see Link pull out a weapon that looks like a hilt of a sword attached to some dragon part, maybe one of Nadra's. And speaking of dragons, we get a better look at this three-headed dragon. And this three-headed dragon is most likely a revamped version of Gleeok from the original Legend of Zelda, with each one having an eye in the center of their face. Clearly, these will be their weak points if I know the Zelda series at all. The trailer then ends off with a scene of Zelda holding the Master Sword, similar to how she once did 100 years ago before Breath of the Wild's events. That's where then the logo cuts in, with hieroglyphs of what seems to be Ganon or maybe Demise commanding their army of monsters. We also get a small snippet of Zelda looking up towards the sky awaiting Link, though it seems like she is on Hyrule's surface, as we can see tons of the surface surrounding her. Clearly this is in the beginning of her adventure, as her clothes are still worn down before she gets the outfit similar to what is presumably Hylia. And there you go, an upscaled 4K, almost frame-by-frame breakdown of the entire trailer, showing off tons of secrets you may have not noticed from your first viewing, and maybe pointing out a few obvious ones. But please let me know what you guys think, and if there's anything else I should have mentioned that I may have missed. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as I have tons more Tears of the Kingdom and Zelda related content coming out real soon. While also of course covering the entire game from start to finish when the game officially drops. And please consider leaving a like on the video to show your support. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I've been ZM, and I'll see you all in the next one.